Well, I got some Advent candles, although they call them Christmas candles, but I don't have an Advent wreath. But I got some metal and I got some tools, and I think we can make something work. So I got a 6-foot piece of 1/4-inch round stock and a 4-foot piece of 1/4-inch round stock, and the plan is pretty much to cut that in half. Should give me about a 1-foot diameter for 2 rings, which I'm gonna cut this into little rods to connect them, weld them together. I got this little device that I made a while back that kind of works and kind of doesn't work very well, but I'm going to use this to roll them into circles. It'll be kind of a basic one. We'll get some pine or evergreen and stuff like that, some pine cones to put on there, and then I'm going to work on the candlesticks too. I got some 1-inch pipe that I'm going to cut up into little sections and weld that on when we're done with the ring. Let's get at it. Just got a pair of bolt cutters. I like the ones with the cable cutters. Sometimes come in handy. Well, it's a little more than 6 feet, I guess. Gonna trim off a little bit of that. There. These are just some old Subaru bearings I got in a scrap pile. Kind of made a adjustment mechanism here so I can adjust this for the tension, but the problem I've had is that they're not really clocked very well, so when you roll something it'll kind of tend to slide off of there, but once I tighten this down should be able to work it a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. Not the greatest, but it will make a nicer curve than just trying to bend it all the way by hand. When I get these roughed out, I'm going to weld this together and then put it in there, and then should be able to work out some of the kind of kinks and stuff. Not so bad, huh? Suppose I'll fix these adjustment screws before we get going any further. Yeah, I think that'll work a little bit better. They don't call me CD for nothing. Next I'm going to weld these together and grind them flush so they can kind of go through the roller there, and then we're going to try and roll them into a nice circle, and we'll move on to the next step after that. figure I just cut those rods about an inch. Maybe like that, just so you can wrap stuff around. Chop some of those up now. Just use that cable cutting part of the bolt cutters. Fairly even. I ended up making them 1.5 inches. Just seemed like it'd work a little better. I'm not going to worry too much right now about making these like square and stuff, because usually when you go to weld it, if it's not a perfect fit up, which it's not, because it's not worth really bothering about for a project like this, I'll just try and get them as even as possible. Plus it's going to be covered up anyway, so some stuff's just not worth really stressing too much about, although I try to do a good job where I can. But I got 6 of these, so I'm just going to put them evenly around. Kind of got a little spot on this one that's not very well fused, so I'm going to try and put one of these on there just to cover that part up. Next I'm going to just take some of these big washers, tack them in there, tack the candlesticks there. Got a little hole in there. These washers are galvanized too. Just don't breathe when you weld them. If you soak that stuff in just plain white vinegar overnight, it'll strip most of that off, and then you can just kind of wipe it off if you don't want to deal with the galvanized. I typically do it because I think the galvanized looks kind of crappy, but I'm just going to spray paint it in this case, so not a big deal. Not bad. How square you want these things depends on how much of a square you want to be, I guess. I just tacked them too so that I could take it apart, I guess, if I really wanted, but I don't think they look that bad. I'll just bend the whole frame if they're a little cattywampus, but pretty happy with it so far. Well, I don't think it looks bad. Looks great.
It does.